So every time I see a company trading this cheap, I first of all assume that it is essentially a shell company that has no activity whatsoever. However, this may not be the case with this actively trading company. Hey, this is Fabi with Equity.Guru, and today I am looking at a company that definitely poses more questions than answers. And so this is going to be a very different kind of video where I pose a series of questions, basically because the whole picture of what the company is doing and showing does not make sense to me. Maybe you'll help me out and help me figure out what is going on right here. So here we have Trackloop Analytics. When you first land on the website, you think, well, this is kind of fancy, supply chain analytics. Okay, cool. What do they do? IoT-powered connectivity. Monitor, plan, and manage your supply chain anywhere. We deliver a turnkey solution with real-time tracking capability that offers the very latest in IoT and AI technologies, providing valuable data and business intelligence to some of the world's leading brands. Awesome. Okay, so I get the gist that this is some sort of logistics company with AI, fully integrated APIs with brands that we recognize if you're in business. Super cool. And then you go to some of their news releases and it all sounds really good. Something like Trackloop launches mobile and web delivery, track and trace at the Cannabis Cup in California. Trackloop signs LOI with Sigma Analytical to develop tracking platform for cannabis testing. Cool. Trackloop signs letter of intent with Lit Cannabis Corp. Awesome. Trackloop's temperature monitoring software deployed by BYD Motors on one of the first fully electric refrigerated delivery vehicles. Awesome. And so it goes on and on and on. Just really great news of something that I would explain as initial partners on a test basis. So when you have technology like this, first of all, you really need to work hard on your sales in order to get the company to have as many potential clients testing their stuff so that they eventually become fully paying clients. Awesome. The thing with what's going on right now is that it seems like Trackloop Analytics is running out of cash. So you see here that their market cap, if this is correct, and I didn't check this number, 64.25 million shares out. So not hugely diluted, but less than $1 million market cap. And so that is way too low, but you see that here very recently, there's been a lot of volume and as high as 2 million shares exchanged in a matter of a week, a day? What is this? Let's see. Let's try to zoom in here. So yeah, about a week. That's quite high. The market's been open for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and the total volume today is 0. The average volume is only a third of a million, and that's pretty high because this pulled it up. When you go over the investors part on their website, you can see here that they list 2018 as corporate brochure and investor presentation, which would be awfully out of date if the link actually led to anywhere, but it does not. So we're left in the dark as to who these people are and what they are up to, what sort of story they're trying to sell, because every stock has a story to sell and there's nothing inherently bad with that. It's just good to have an up-to-date platform where people can see that. And Trackloop is in technology, so you would expect a lot more from a technology company, to have something that's up to date for investors like me who are interested in seeing what the company has been doing lately. But the most worrisome part is actually when you pull up their latest financials. And that is because as of February the 28th, 2019, you can see here that the cash that they have is only 148,000. That was back in February. We are end of July. So I'm assuming that this has come down even lower.
The other thing is that they are likely not to make a bunch of money all of a sudden out of sales, because sales up until February had only been just over $13,000. And that's for the 3 months. So December to February, that's all that they sold, which I'm completely fine with as long as those LOIs and those potential partners are actually having a positive experience and are planning on renewing with Trackloop. The big contracts only come after a few months of testing of the technology. So that's okay, but this is not going to bring in a lot of money for the company. And I have not seen anything regarding a raise, which really worries me, because you would assume that Trackloop has completely run out of money by now, and that's not a good thing. So these are a lot of questions that I have to ask Trackloop Analytics. There is a lot to be said about what they have put out here as news. They do actually come out with something very interesting here. That was April 16th. If we click here, you can see that they bring out an investor update. So let's take a look at the potential here. One of the latest updates was the Nevada licensing. Basically, they have a very interesting partnership with Volta Air Technology. Although we have no idea how much money this could bring in, they don't go into the detail of the potential here. Having a partnership with the companies that are, building out and retrofitting the trucks that are basically taking anything from cannabis to food to cold items from place A to place B. That is very interesting, because that means that they could essentially supply a whole host of different companies through one single partnership. So this is huge. It's a huge plus for me if it pans out. California, METRC approval is also very important. Basically, anybody who is involved in the storing and transportation of cannabis in California has to get an approval from these guys, and Trackloop has actually met all the requirements. So basically, if you need to follow the logistics from planting to delivery to the end consumer, you need this sort of approval. And it's probably not easy to get, as most things in California. These guys have successfully achieved that. But then again, you need to be able to sell that to potential clients. They've also just launched a supply chain mapping platform, and according to them, it analyzes the entire product supply from source, like I just mentioned, to the destination, and you can check out real-time visibility of where the product is, which is something that I think is going to seep through basically everything that we do. Just the other day, I pulled up my Uber Eats on my phone, and I could see exactly where the driver was, and I knew that my fries were cold because the guy took too long to get there, or they changed the driver a few times. So you see right there and then how that technology can impact the quality of the product, and you know how to fix it immediately. So there is a lot of money pouring into this sector. There is a lot of need by companies who are every day trying to transport very fragile items from point A to point B, and they need something like what Trackloop offers. Now, going back to the Volta Air technology and Thermobile that I've just mentioned, this is a multi-year distribution agreement. So let's see if this is going to be the big thing that brings in a lot of cash. I just need to see something more recent. I need to see how are they going to be able to finance themselves from last February until all of the money from these deals starts to pour in, and also keep a very close eye on how much is going to come in from each of these partnerships. So I would actually keep a close eye on this. The price movement has been very worrisome if you have held it. But if these guys start to rake some serious cash in from said partnerships, then this could go multiple times higher. But then again, it's whether they have been able to secure financing, if they can keep the lights on, and how much they're going to make from each partnership. Keep a very close eye on their CEDAR filings. Come here and see the next MD&A. Check out if they're putting anything out that gives you a signal of, there's money coming in and we're going to survive. We're going to be fine in the long term. The sector in and of itself is very promising, but like I said, many questions yet to be answered. So that is Trackloop, ticker symbol TOOL in Canada.